Arab East Jerusalem, a village of pale stone nestled among hills of traditional graveyards and modern hotels. Hebrew University keeping watch. Settlements loom everywhere. Will even this historic Palestinian guest house survive the latest rush of Israeli colonialism? We should ask. We're the nation helping sustain an occupation that imprisons millions of Palestinians on the West Bank and in Gaza. Now highway sound barriers block the hazy pastel view of the old city and lead to special Jewish-only settlements through tunnels and highways that trap Palestinians into smaller and smaller places, and dust ancient olive trees with a hubris crust, like one more insult to an occupied land. Settlements stand concrete in their power. Riding on, I remember an American expatriate of Jewish heritage saying, "What do you expect? We won, and we made the Jordan River Valley green." As if April in the Jordan River Valley could be anything but green, especially with water-sapping irrigation. The Sea of Galilee, the desert hills of Jordan, the Golan Heights, so grand in beauty. We let some Palestinians stay, and now they work the land for us. We have our towns, rich with our success. They have their sheep and villages. There is no wall in sight, but its symbolism is everywhere. Another day, we travel a mile or so beyond Jerusalem's sound barrier toward the West Bank. What was once a part of Palestinian East Jerusalem is now an Israeli housing complex, with pleasant bus stops, tidy flower gardens, a huge modern mall, lots of parking at markets and small shops, and wide and easily traversed streets and roads. We come to the Kalandia separation wall. Why don't you call it what it is, I ask. I see it as an apartheid wall. My friend does not reply. Is she afraid to voice her own reality even when alone with me? We enter the West Bank through the Kalandia checkpoint. No one stops us. It's when we go the other way, my friend explains. Israel only cares what happens on their side of the wall. On the wrong side of the wall, nothing is new or lustrous with convenience. This is a no man's land, my friend tells me as I gasp at the refuse. This is confiscated land. Once there were houses here, but the wall took care of that. Now no government claims the area, so there are no community services, no garbage pickup, and worse, no police protection. Anything goes. The wall begins to line a city street as we continue to the Sufat refugee camp, where displaced families look out at yet another Israeli settlement. While they contend with crowded spaces, streets too narrow to offer safe parking, and walls reminding them of their prison. We drive on to Ramallah, in the center of Palestinian Authority territory. Much of the debris is gone. The city is vibrant. Young people dominate. Many young men mill about. Lack of employment is a problem. There's a poignant humor in signs like stars and bucks. We come again to the perimeter wall road and drive on until the wall twists beyond and within itself, constructing new barriers as it does, right in people's backyards. More garbage, still a no man's land. Former residents gone. The wall is everywhere you look, visible from rooftop, garden, or lonely residential street. Were it not for the no man's land, visitors would not know where Ramallah begins and Jerusalem ends. We enter my friend's house. It is abandoned. Everything remains in place. Dust is the only inhabitant. If we stay here, my friend says, we can no longer go to Jerusalem even for our jobs or schooling. This was Jerusalem. Now the wall says it's not. This was a neighborhood of professional families who lived near each other and enjoyed big family meals together. My parents and brothers and sisters have all moved to tiny apartments in Jerusalem. If they want to keep their freedom, they cannot live here. Some cannot even visit. Back to Debris. The community is home to a sort of criminal element, my friend says. Drug dealers know that no one will come after them here. What was once a proud garden is now a place of wire fences and debris. There are no cars on the street or children playing. Is this the last displacement? The end of the Palestinian professional class? Who else is left to force out? How can you have hope? I think, looking over at my friend. The Israelis say, we'll take your gardens because we can, leaving you with the garbage. How can we Americans be proud of supporting once Jewish refugees only to reinforce destruction of Palestinians in their stead? We have not had conquest and occupation on our land since we first came to the New World. Do we understand the implications of colonialism in a shrinking world today? Has our morality turned us self-righteous and, like the wall, blocked our sense of justice and brotherly love? What of the children? How many American parents would want their kids walking home from school with machine gunners on every other corner? These are the children with Jerusalem ID cards. These are the so-called lucky kids. As long as they have the cards, they can come or go as they please. But if they want to marry someone from, say, Bethlehem or Ramallah, just a few miles away, too bad. No more Jerusalem ID. Instead, a split family with dad or mom, one or the other, sent to live alone in the town where he or she was born. Family life becomes impossible. The Israeli government thinks little of breaking up a family. Every act is a design to cleanse the land of the Palestinian population. These are the children on the wrong side of the wall. They go to school too, but they look at the stranger differently. They know what it means not to have a Jerusalem ID card. For some, a playground abuts the so-called separation wall, but even pastel rocks cannot hide the ugliness of what to me is, indeed, an apartheid wall. A local peace group has an artist paint a grandmother, a relative revered in Arab lands, asking for peace to diminish the closest guard tower and to show the children her love of them. This is peaceful resistance. These are the children who play at the end of a message. Imagine the impact of having to live behind a wall and to see again and again what has happened to your brothers and sisters who dared resist. Is this fear-mongering the answer to peace without justice? These are the children who live in the basement of the world, who watch their grandfathers slump home every night, defeated by joblessness, yet again. These are the children whose stability vanished with their parents' or grandparents' villages in 1948, 1967, or now. They want to be seen by us. They wonder, do we, the visitors, the Americans, represent justice for them? How could we think that these children or the families before them would simply hand over their keys and walk away? Would we so easily give up our America? Did the Native Americans before us? Nothing is sacred when even the smallest children are not free. This little boy asked me to take his picture. He did his best to smile, and so did I. But I had little to promise him. I will not forget his face or any of those whose eyes met mine in Palestine. Can we understand that peace will never be until responsible freedom is extended to everyone? Like it or not, our world is smaller today. Peace can only come with universal justice and moral sensibility. Can you and I usher in the peace we say we want?